we managed to shift people's expectations. After the game releases, we will take over the gacha genre with hot anime characters and boss fights that will clap the cheeks. And then we will conquer. Well.
Well.
Wuthering Waves is releasing in less than 20 days, and so I'd like to talk about whether you should play it in 2024.
Subscribe for more.
And the obvious answer is, of course, why wouldn't you? It's free, and it's not like you're gonna lose anything from playing the game, right? But if you don't know what Wuthering Waves is, it's basically a game where you collect characters, collect monsters, you explore an open world, and you do quests. Like there's a main quest, there's side quests, and you fight difficult bosses. So one of the main reasons why I'm playing the game is because of the combat experience. You basically have a team of 3 characters. Each character has a basic attack, charge attack, plunge attack, a skill, and an ultimate. Also, they have intro skills and outro skills when you swap between them. Not only that, but each character can equip a weapon and an echo. So weapons basically give you stats, and you want to make sure that you choose the right weapon with the right stats to the right characters. So there's gonna be synergy between weapons and characters, so make sure you pick the right one. Now in terms of echoes, so once you defeat an enemy, you obtain their echo, and that echo has random substats, and those substats can be really good or really bad. And once you obtain an echo that has really good substats, you can use that and equip it to your character. Also, since the stats are random, you're going to be walking around and farming a lot of echoes, so it is going to be tedious, if I say so myself, based off of past experience with other gacha games. But don't worry, there are shiny echoes. Now let's talk about the meats and potatoes, the boss fights. One of the core strengths of the game is its boss fights. It has really cool and really engaging boss fights, even difficult boss fights that even become more difficult and unlock new abilities and new attack chains as it becomes harder. But not only that, but some of the music for every boss fight is so insane. boss fights in this game rival even boss fights from like Souls games and just normal AAA games and AA and indie games. So the boss fights are really good in this game. But if you don't care about the combat and the gameplay and all that stuff and you just want to collect the characters, well, I'm happy to tell you that Wuthering Waves has some of the best, if not the best, current character models. In terms of designs, because it's post-apocalyptic, you might not like it as much as other games, and that's purely preferential and just, biases. But in terms of just general character design, I think it has some of the best character designs in any game. Like, look at Kalcharo, look at Yinlin, look at Jian, and look at some of the other 4-star characters and 5-star characters. I have faith that in the future they will be releasing some of the best looking characters and character designs in the game. Not only that, some of the best and some of the highest quality animations in the game that will rival any other gacha game, and it will be hard to compete with Wuthering Waves in terms of animations and combat design and character design. Also, make sure that you don't pull for characters based off of strength alone, because this is a gacha game, and in gacha games, future characters will always be stronger than past characters no matter what, because that's what drives sales, unless they focus on playstyles. If they add more unique playstyles like a necromancer, a summoner, a barbarian, or healers that do damage, and shielders, like if they focus on characters that do unique stuff, that might be good. They always do really stronger characters, and the standard banners usually end up useless. Now, after I talked about the good stuff, I'd like to talk about some of the, stuff that might hold the game back. And there are actually two main things that I think that will hold the game back, and it might improve in the future, but for now, it does seem like an issue. And the first one is the story. So the story looks a little boring, uninteresting, except for the moments that really hit with the high quality budget animations and just some of the crazy boss fights that you'll end up fighting during the story. But I do have faith that in the future, when they release more content and develop the story even more, they will release new regions and new characters. The game and the story will become better as time goes, and if you want proof for that, you can look at games like Star Rail and Genshin. Genshin released some of its best story that has ever been released with Fontaine, and Star Rail has released also some of its best story that they released since launch. So like I said, maybe the story will begin very boring and slow and just not interesting and really confusing. I think it will be confusing a little bit, but as time goes, I think the game will become much better, and the story will become much better as it evolves into its own and finishes developing the world. In terms of the second part, I want to talk about the farming and the grind. I think the game will be really grindy and tedious in terms of grind. Like in Genshin, you can enter a domain and repeat the domain over and over. So it is grindy, but you don't have to walk around the map to grind. And in Star Rail, you can do it automatically. You can just leave the game and it will play itself and grind itself. But in Wuthering Waves, you're gonna have to walk around the world and farm echoes and defeat bosses, especially bosses, because I don't imagine myself having to fight a boss multiple times just to get an echo, and it might be bad or it might be good. So in terms of that, I say that these two issues are really issues that need to be addressed and fixed. So let's talk about the pros and cons as final remarks. The game will have a good combat system, great character design, and high quality animations. Also, the game looks absolutely beautiful, with great graphics and a really amazing open world. And the biggest pro of them all is the challenging bosses and the great music. Cons: the game seems grindy. The possibility of farming bosses to obtain their echoes seems tedious. The story looks boring and uninteresting except for the big story beats, and as they release more characters in the future, those characters will become obsolete. To finish off the video, I'd like to say that Wuthering Waves is shaping up to be one of my most anticipated gacha games to be released, and just anticipated games of just the year as well, because let's be honest, what games are going to be releasing? You have Elden Ring DLC and some other games. There's not a lot of games to play. At least not a lot of high quality games, and Wuthering Waves is shaping up to be one of those high quality games. So in terms of that, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.
all right now. Everybody worried about the crown being. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a peon, kind of time we on. Don't roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit.
We managed to shift people's expectations. After the game releases, we will take over the gacha genre with hot anime characters and boss fights that will clap their cheeks. And then we will conquer